Don't I look dashing in my new crown? I am a handsome fellow, even if I don't say so myself.
Oh, I am sorry. I didn't see you there. I was just practicing my characters for today's story.
Story Adventure.
Let me introduce myself. My name is Lauren, and I'm here from Harrow Green Community Library to tell you one of my most favourite, silliest stories of all time. Now, it's rather funny, isn't it? Because we are all together, but we're also not. I'm here in my home, and you're the other side of the screen in your homes. So before we begin, I just wanted to check that I can see and hear all of you and make sure you're all there. So would you do me a favour? Would you come up a little closer to your screen for me? That's it. And when I say go, can you give me a big wave and say, "Hello, Lauren"? Are you ready? Go! Oh, that's amazing. I can see Thea, hello. I can see Zach, hello. I can see Noah, hi. And Poppy, and Henry, and Ernie, and you. Well, hello. That worked a treat. Now, I suppose you're all wondering what today's story is. In order to find out, we're going to have to travel back in time because today's story was written 200 years ago. So, do you have a time machine pocket watch with you? If you do, great! If you don't, perhaps you might like to go and get one. You can always pause this video and come back to it. You can get your own time machine pocket watch by heading to the library website and printing one off at home. Or maybe you'd prefer to imagine one up. Either way, hold out your time machine pocket watch for me. And I wonder, as we turn the clocks back in time, if you can say the magic words with me. They're going to go, turn the clocks back. Turn the clocks back, turn the clocks back, all the way back, all the way back. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Turn the clocks back, turn the clocks back, turn the clocks back, all the way back, all the way back. Very good. Turn the clocks back, turn the clocks back, turn the clocks back, all the way back, all the way back. Do you hear that noise? It sounds as though there's a procession going on. I can hear lots of cheering for an emperor. That's it! We've done it! We've travelled back in time and landed in the story 200 years in the past. For this is the story of The Emperor's New Clothes. So, how does every good story begin? Can you tell me? That's right, once upon a time. And that's exactly how we're going to begin our story today. So I'd like you to start by putting your hands together as though they're a storybook, like this. And as we open up our storybooks, we're going to say, once upon a time. Are you ready? All together now. Once upon a time, very good. Many, many years ago, in a land far, far away, there once lived a very vain emperor. Now, this emperor was so exceedingly fond of new clothes that he spent all of his people's time and money on looking good. In fact, he loved clothes so much that he had a new coat for every hour of the day. Well, that's an awful lot of coats, isn't it? Here, he would say as he gazed in the mirror at himself.
What do you think of my new coat? Let me show you. Don't you think I'm going to look very handsome in it? Don't you think it looks far better than the one I had on just a moment ago?
And his courtiers would always reply, "Why, yes, your majesty, that is a very splendid coat indeed." Well, news of the emperor's love of clothes spread far and wide throughout the land. And one day, 2 very naughty swindlers came to hear of this vain emperor. Now let it be known that these very naughty swindlers were weavers, and they told the emperor that they could weave the most magnificent fabric imaginable, far better than anything he currently owned in his closet.
Not only are our fabrics and colours uncommonly fine, but clothes made from this cloth have an unusual way of becoming invisible to anyone who is, how do I put it, stupid or unfit for purpose in your court, your majesty. Well, the emperor gasped, impressed. Invisible to stupid people, you do say? So, let me get this straight. You're telling me if I wear this fabric, I'll be able to tell who is wise and who is stupid in my court? Well, yes, I must get some of this stuff woven for me right away.
And with that, he paid the 2 swindlers a very large sum of money to get to work as soon as possible.
I have an idea, said the emperor. I will arrange for a procession where I will wear my new clothes and parade them throughout my land so that all my people can admire me in them.
And so the 2 weavers set up their looms in the basement of the emperor's palace and began to pretend to weave, although there was nothing on their looms at all.
We're gonna need a lot more of that expensive fabric you gave us, your majesty. Another old crate of it should do it,
They would tell the emperor regularly, who would always order them more expensive silk. Now you see, all of this expensive silk would go straight into their bags when nobody was looking, and the looms would remain empty as they continued to work long into the night.
Well, I'd rather like to know how my new outfit is coming along, said the emperor one day. I know what I'll do. Yes, I'll send my honest old minister down to check on them. For he is a sensible man, and he does his duty well. He'll be the best one to advise me on how the material looks.
And so it was that the honest old minister was sent down to the basement to check on the 2 weavers' progress of the emperor's new clothes. And sure enough, there the 2 weavers sat, pretending to weave.
Here, minister, come on in. Do come and admire our beautiful fabric. Ah, splendid colours. Tell us, what do you think? Yeah, that's the face of a man who's impressed if ever I saw one. No.
Well, the old minister's eyes were wide open, and he panicked, for he saw nothing at all. Of course, you see, there was nothing to see.
Heaven help me, he thought. I don't see anything. I don't see anything at all. Oh, that must surely mean that I am stupid. I cannot let anybody know that I am stupid. I can't afford to lose my position in court.
Here, come on, Minister. Don't be shy. Come on, tell us. What do you think? Well, chaps, it's beautiful. It's magnificent. Why, gentlemen, it's simply the most splendid outfit I've ever set my eyes upon. I applaud you. Bravo. I shall be sure to let the Emperor know that I'm delighted with the outfit. And with that, the two swindlers smirked proudly and continued to pretend to weave. Well, the very next day, the Emperor, who was growing exceedingly more excited about the progress of his new clothes, decided to send another one of his officials down to check on the two weavers. What do you think happened when this official got down there? Do you think he saw anything? No, you're right. He saw nothing. Nothing at all. For there was nothing to see. But, like the old minister a few days previously, this official didn't want anyone to think he was stupid. He didn't want to lose his position in court. And so, he proceeded to praise the imaginary garment before going back to the Emperor to tell him, "It's enchanting, Your Majesty. It's magnificent. It's quite simply the most beautiful outfit I've ever set my eyes upon." Well, by this point, news of the Emperor's new clothes was spreading far and wide throughout the land. And everybody was so excited to see which of their neighbours was stupid. Well, soon enough, the day of the procession arrived, and the Emperor's new clothes were, well, finished. The Emperor was very excited indeed to try on his new clothes, and he invited all of his noblemen and officials into his chamber. The two swindlers entered. "Well, good morning, Your Majesty. Here it is, the big day. I bet you can't wait to see your new clothes. Blood, sweat and tears have gone into these for you, Your Majesty. All the finest fabric in the land has been used, rest assured, let me tell you. So, you ready? You ready to see them? Here we go. This is the shirt, Your Majesty. These are the trousers. And just you wait until you see this last garment, Your Majesty. This right here is the mantle. What do you think? All three of them as light as a spider's web. One would almost think you had nothing on, but that's what makes them so fine. The Emperor gasped in shock. Good heavens, he thought. I can see nothing at all. That must surely mean that I am stupid. Am I unfit to be Emperor? I cannot let anybody know that I cannot see the cloth, and so he proceeded to praise the imaginary garments. Gentlemen, I am impressed. What fine colours my mantle does have. Oh, look at that splendid stitching. What a marvellous fit those trousers are surely going to be. And sure enough, all of his noblemen and officials in his chamber agreed that they too did not want anybody to think they were stupid. If your Imperial Majesty would condescend to take your clothes off, we will put your new clothes on in front of this long mirror right here, said the two swindlers. And so the Emperor began to undress, and the two swindlers put on their imaginary new clothes. Oh, how marvellous Your Majesty does look! Oh, what a splendid fit that lovely garment is! The Emperor heard on all sides sides of the room from all of the noblemen and officials who dare not admit he had nothing on. The Minister of Public Processions then announced, "Your Majesty's canopy is waiting outside." And so the Emperor took one last look in the mirror. "Yes, it is a remarkable feat, isn't it?" he said. He seemed to regard his costume with the greatest interest. The nobles and officials who were supposed to be carrying his train pretended to scoop it up off the floor. They dare not admit they had nothing to hold. And so it was that the Emperor walked under his canopy and paraded throughout the town. The town was buzzing with excitement. People had gathered from far and wide all to see the Emperor's new clothes. What do you think happened when they got there? Do you think they saw anything at all? No, you're right. They saw nothing because there was nothing to see. But of course nobody wanted to admit that they couldn't see anything because they didn't want anybody to think they were stupid. And so everybody in the crowd pretended to admire and praise the imaginary garments. "Oh, how well the Emperor does look," they said. "Oh, what splendid colours! I wonder who those tailors are. Haven't they done a marvellous job?" Everybody, that was, until one child called out, "But he hasn't got anything on. I can see his bottom!" Oh, nonsense, the child's father laughed. Did you ever hear such innocent nonsense? And then one person whispered to another person, "He hasn't got anything on. That child says he hasn't got anything on." "But he hasn't got anything on," the whole crowd cried out at last. The Emperor shivered now, for he had suspected they were right. But, he thought, this parade must go on. And so, he walked, more proudly than ever now, throughout the town, his officials and noblemen holding high the train that wasn't there at all.
The storybook!
Well, 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 what a silly story that was. I do hope you enjoyed the tale as much as me. Now, the reason I chose such a silly story to tell you today is because of this year's Summer Reading Challenge. Have you heard of it? Well, this year's theme is the Silly Squad, and there are so many brilliant, fun and silly stories to choose from the challenge list. To find out more about the Silly Squad Reading Challenge, head to the Harrow Green Community Library Facebook page. Speaking of which, I'm off to choose a silly story to read for myself. Thanks for joining me today. Bye-bye!